Hey everybody, it's Brandon. Let's talk about Dig Three Graves. This is a Weird Frontiers adventure. It's level 3 adventure by Harley Stroh. I'll be spoiling this adventure. You can get it if you want to pick it up on Ttrpg in PDF and print. That's where this came from. And Harley's just done a great job with this adventure. It's a really cool investigative kind of sandbox adventure a little bit. It's going to kind of give you a path to go. It's got some really cool art throughout it. This cover is fantastic. It's by Steve Kane. He just did a really cool job. I really dig a lot of the covers for Weird Frontiers, the adventures that were done for it and are continue being done for it. So yeah, it's got a lot going on. It's not extremely long. I think you could probably do it in maybe one session, maybe two tops. Matters how detailed your players are with their characters, how slow they go, obviously. So, introduction, adventure summary is fantastic. It's going to tell you pretty much everything that's going to happen in the adventure to some degree, and it's not all of it's there. I'm going to tell you about the bad guys, the Knights of the Golden Circle, and more importantly, the Dry Park Gang and what's left of them, and which is essence nothing, as they've now become these terrible ghost riders in the sky. Okay, it's all going to make sense here in a little bit. So I'm just kind of go through it and let you see what it's all about. So it's an investigative adventure going into this town of Harrow Springs. You've got a couple of adventure hooks here because you're going to be looking after this holy type of silver, okay, this blessed silver. And the lady who's got it is going to be this lady right here, and she'll give it to you. She's got her boy with her. She'll give it to you if you are able to go get her husband's body, Kid Colton, and return it to her so that she can bury him properly. So you're going to go and investigate the town and try to figure out where his body is and try to return it to her. But of course, there's much more going on than that. Here's Harrow Springs right here. So what is actually going on? Well, there was a group of turds, and they were called the Knights of the Golden Circle. They're still around, and they want to try to create a golden circle of territories that become slave states. And of course, the 7 Days of Night kind of messed that whole plan up and fractured them. And one of the group that's from them is called the Dry Park Gang. And they were a bunch of turds, in essence, and outlaws and thieves and stuff. And they were turned in by Kid Colton. And he turned them into the Texas Rangers, where they were hung. And then he fled. And he had a strong box of silver with him. And in essence, they have turned, the Dry Park Gang have turned into damned souls, ghost riders. So they show up in this big black thunderclouds, storm come raging, and they're on the cover here as they come riding in, and you need to go seek shelter. If you don't, you will end up like many of their victims, which is your soul is being dragged behind them. And it's just a really cool visual that needs to be really well described to your players. And here's a great piece of art by Torres here, showing them coming from the storm, this big thunderstorm, grabbing up people, and they're being drugged behind them. And one of those is Kid Colton. So he's dead, and he is being drugged by this Dry Park Gang. And so what it is they have pretty much, they've hunted him. He's been hunted down and killed, and he's forever tormented by riding behind them. So it's kind of like a boss in essence that you can't really stop. They're just going to continue doing what they do, and you can only hide from them. But there are still members of the Knights of the Golden Circle in the town of Harrow Springs. And so what you'll do is you'll go visit her. You'll be attacked by the Ghost Riders. You need to hide inside the house with her. You'll build up a little bit of a relationship with her. She'll give you the silver. If you go get his body, she believes he's been buried in the town, and she believes it's going to be at the Boot Hill Cemetery. So what'll happen is you'll survive that encounter, hopefully. If not, you might die. I mean, straight up, there's this if you don't make your rolls and stuff, this table right here will pretty much if you just stand out there and let these guys come and wreck you. And I think that's one of the things about Weird Frontiers is that You have special abilities. You know that you're larger than life with the supernatural, so you may try to say, hey, let's try to take it to these guys. But some things in this game, the adventures that have been written, they're just going to wreck you, and they're beyond what your powers are capable of. So there is a way. It says on a successful save, roll 1d12 modified by luck. So if you make the save, it's a DC 15 Fortitude save, or you'll be swept up with the gang and fated to ride with them eternally. You may become unconscious or badly hurt, or you may come out of it smelling like roses. But that's a chance you'll have to willing to be able to take. So you'll go to Boot Hill. You'll investigate. There's going to be an old Tommy Knocker. He's a grave keeper there. Maybe you can get onto his good side, or you can sneak in and try to uncover the grave. Once you dig it out, you'll find out that he's not there. There's a piece of newsprint. That's going to be the next little piece of the puzzle, the next clue. It's going to take you to the town of Harrow Springs, because the print, it says here, this sort of paper can only be had at the Star, where the paper's reporter, editor, and printer, Xander Black, is an unwilling accomplice of the KGC, that is the Knights of the Golden Circle. So you have a group of people within this town that have some power, a part of the KGC, and they're not completely over everything, but they definitely have some sway. So you'll have the Silver Dollar Saloon that you can go check out. Again, we've got a really cool map right here that's going to show you how Harrow Springs is. If you want to go check out different places, you'll have like the Silver Dollar Saloon. And some of these places don't have anything really big going on that's massively involved, but at least it's thoroughly explained. And this is where this guy Hans Wolfsritter, who's an occultist, who is part of the KGC, he's going to have a group of goons. This is kind of like their central area. There's nothing that really has to bring you here. You probably will just go here just kind of organically. And some people can tell you about this place as well. And so there's a little bit of a place where you can kind of do a little bit of searching, and not a whole bunch, but if you need to talk to some people that are obviously involved in the adventure, they're going to be here, a couple of NPCs as well. And then you're going to check out some other places that are going to kind of lead you around. This Doc Ellison's place, it's got a cool little story going on with it, in which he actually has, he collects, and this is not it's got a little bit of a side story, a little side mission. He's been kind of collecting flesh and body parts and kind of putting them together to create the thing in the cellar, which he may break out upon you. So that's not going to be good for you. He does have some interesting stuff in there, as he is a doctor. But it says right here, he has his experiment, and if he needs to, if he's cornered, he'll lift up the floorboards, and then he'll release the violent child into the world. It's going to be a pretty nasty little grit check for you, and it's going to be a rough little fight. Now, I wouldn't say that overall there's just a ton of combat in there, but there is some. And that's going to be a neat kind of nasty little thing. But it could be a red herring that takes the PCs and the players, if they don't really understand everything that's going on, or think that this is a prime, plot point in the adventure. It could take them on a wild tangent. So and he talks about that as well. You may have to kind of bring them back into the story. The Flophouse is interesting. It actually has some good guys in it. The Flophouse boys could actually be people that they're not heroes, but they're willing to work on the PC side for righteousness. They actually could be some people that you take with you in order to just help swing the scales a little bit in your favor. You can go to the Harrow Springs Star. That's where that newspaper print is going to, it's been made. This guy, Xander Black, he's been unwittingly printing a lot of the stuff for the KGC. So it's a cool little thing just to get a little bit more information about who is writing this, who had you do this. It will take you maybe back to that Wolfsritter guy, and it could be a thing where you just go straight to the guy, Wolfsritter and the rest of his goons, and try to just point the finger at them, or try to stage some sort of shootout or something like that. There is the stage station. It is a small one-room building. It's a source of excitement there in Harrow Springs. It's got a little bit of a story going on with it as well. Some places, like I said, they're detailed. They don't have an extreme amount of workings within the main plot. But I do like how, of course, like a lot of these adventures, they do tell you where there's places of gold or treasure or money that can be had in case your players want to go on a little bit of the damned side of the path. So that's interesting. It says researchers that would take their time to cross-reference the highlighted coaches against the records of coaches robbed by the Dry Park Gang find an alarming correlation. So there is a little bit of a correlation there that you can find out, a little bit of a clue about what they've been taking and shipping and stuff like that with some of the records that are there. So again, more investigative. There's a place here to get horses. There's a chapel. This is pretty interesting here, this Father Paul. Because there is a ghost. There is a ghost that's in this town, this ghost of Laura Black right here. And there is a way to try to arrest her spirit. Again, a little bit of a side quest, if you wish. She doesn't really know much about Kid Colton. She can really do some damage to you. She wants to speak so bad and tell her story that anybody that can go and speak to the dead are going to have kind of like a psychic shock to their system when she's able to talk. She's going to tell about who murdered her, and who murdered her were part of Wolfsritter's group. So she does know who killed her, and that can, again, it's more direction back towards those turds, Wolfsritter and his gang. So it's just kind of a neat little side thing. Again, a little bit of supernatural, bringing it back to those guys. And then you're going to go to Purgatory, and this is where the Dry Park Gang's hideout is. And we've got a really cool piece of art here. I really like this map a lot, the way it looks, and it's just really well detailed here. And you're going to explore these canyons and stuff like that. There's a bit of an overlook here. You've got I really like that. Just to show your players, you've got a corral where they keep their horses, and there is a horse that's in essence a ghost horse. You may be able to actually free it and have it possess your own horse. So that's just another neat little supernatural little side quest type thing right there to unlock. You'll find some ruined shacks. They're all destroyed. There will be the overhang where you'll find Kid Colton's body, but these storms are going to come in, and when these storms come in, it's going to be pretty nasty. And this is also going to let Wolfsritter and his group know what's going on once you take Kid Colton's body. But these storms are going to create a big flood in this area. As you can see, this area right here, in these valleys and stuff, is going to flood very easily. So you're going to have to try to get away from that, as of course the Ghost Riders show up as well. So you have to watch out. There is a cave with a cache in it, some stuff where they've got a false wall. This is where the Dry Park Gang had a false wall where they put a lot of their treasure in there and a bunch of strong boxes. And you can get a bunch of gold and silver dollars out of that. So that's kind of like a neat little treasure thing at the end. And then one of the things during this, when you take the body, is there's going to be a bunch of skeletons that are going to show up. They're going to start popping up out of the ground. These are all the people that they've killed and buried out here. Again, another great piece of art by Torres of these skeletons and zombies kind of busting off out of the ground and going to attack the player character. Just a great piece of art to show your players. And so you're finally going to have the showdown with the KGC, with Wolfsritter and the rest of his group. It's going to be back at Widow Colton's place. They're going to know that you're going to go back there to return his body, so they're going to try to ambush you there. That's where you'll have a big shootout, probably fight there. You'll return his body to her. You'll get the blessed silver, and then there's just a really neat thing here at the end that kind of sums up the story. Maybe it's a little bit of a revelation for your players that'll be nice to read, and you'll kind of go, I see. It was that kind of thing all along. I don't really want to spoil it here, but it's going to be fun for you to be able to read and understand kind of the end of the story, as well as kind of the name of Dig 3 Graves and what that means. So again, another cool piece of art right here, fighting some zombies and stuff. I do like this NPC list. That way you can just flip to this and you've got all the stats there for you, instead of having them all over the book to kind of flip around, because you don't know exactly when these people are going to show up in the adventure. So you don't have to keep flipping around. And if you do have this on PDF, you pick it up like that. You can just print off these pages if you got a printer, and you're good to go. And it's easy to manage. And it even tells you what location that they're in normally. Of course, that could change. And I like the notes section here about how they are. They're nervous, or this guy's handsome, devilish man, immaculately dressed, well versed in the occult. So just neat stuff. That's with Wolfsritter right there. Of course, he's a level 5 occultist, so he's going to be pretty nasty to take down. And then you've got like the Flophouse Boys. You've got their hirelings like Michael the Snake, Shotgun Sarah, Xander Black. Cool names. Some names you might recognize from friends that are in the DCC community have been resurrected in this adventure, and that's always fun to see those names. And then some of the other townsfolk people, and then it's going to end right there with some advertisements. But overall, it is a very cool, investigative, Weird West adventure. Harley's done a great job. I really like this one. I do think it's for a little bit more advanced judges that know how to kind of bring these characters to life, especially the NPCs, how to be able to roll with maybe players that want to go off on red herrings that might get a hold of them and try to bring them back to this story. Hopefully you'll have players that have cool heads when they know that then when the numbers are against them and not try to take on the Ghost Riders, that they're way beyond their power level. And that's where maybe if you have maybe you've got some characters that like Calaveras that deal with the other side, and spirits can say, hey, look, I sense a great power within these things. They are way beyond us. Try to give a little hint that, hey, let's not take it straight to them. Wolf's Ritter can be a really cool NPC villain to play out, as well as like his goon henchmen, and just to make them kind of nasty characters. But I think you have to have a kind of a subtle hand as you go through this town of Hollow Springs, not to rile the people up too much, because, like I said, they're unwittingly like part of kind of this town and its history and the powers that be there. But they could easily be swayed against you should you have a bit of a nasty disposition as you traverse their town. So again, a great adventure for Weird Frontiers. Check out Weird Frontiers if you never have. I will put a link to Weird Frontiers if you want to go check it out on Ttrpg to pick up either the PDF or the print. I know I've done it at videos on these adventures before, but I want to send you to where if you want to check that game out. It's just fantastic. If you love Wild West and you love cool, weird, supernatural stuff, it's a great mix of the two. So there it is, Dig 3 Graves. I hope you liked this video. It's a very cool adventure. Harley's done a great job on it. And I look forward to making the next video for you. So as always, thanks for watching.